Good day, Dr. Phillips and fellow classmates. Today I am presenting a strategic analysis for Greenleaf Wellness Foods, a mid-size specialty food distributor prepared as part of a strategic planning consulting engagement. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll walk through the external and internal analysis, the SWOT synthesis, the key strategic dilemmas GWF faces, and my recommendations. Greenleaf Wellness Foods is a privately held specialty food distributor founded in 2005, generating roughly $150 million a year by connecting over 150 small and medium-sized producers with regional grocery chains, health food stores, and food service accounts within about a 300-mile radius. Compared to national competitors like UNFI and KEHE, GWF has regional scale, but not their purchasing power or reach. So its central challenge is growing while protecting the relationship-based capabilities that set it apart. Scanning the macro environment with PESTEL, political and legal regulatory requirements shape food safety and distribution compliance. Economically, inflation is pressuring costs and margins. Socially, demand for sustainable, wellness-oriented products keeps growing, which works in GWF's favor. Technologically, advances in supply chain and distribution technology are raising the bar, and environmentally, expectations for environmental responsibility keep increasing. Together, these trends create both challenges and opportunities for GWF. Continuing with external analysis. Applying Porter's 5 forces, the analysis points to strong industry rivalry, including pressure from national distributors like UNFI and KEHE, and high buyer power driven by grocery consolidation. E-commerce, direct-to-consumer brands add competitive pressure on the new entrant and substitute fronts. But GWF's established supplier relationships and regional expertise remain difficult to replicate, which is why competing on price would be challenging and differentiation should stay the primary strategy. So, going through the 5 forces on new entrants, I have that labeled as moderate because e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands lower some barriers to entry, and supplier power also moderate, fragmented producer base through long-term supplier relationships give GWF leverage. On buyer power, that one is labeled as high. Grocery consolidation strengthens large retail buyers' negotiating position, and substitutes that is slated as moderate, direct to consumer brands and expanding private label programs. And rivalry is very high, a strong industry rivalry, including pressure from national distributors, is very strong. The internal analysis, VRIO. A VRIO look following Barney's 1991 framework shows GWF's strongest competitive advantage is its relationship network, long-term partnerships with suppliers and retailers that competitors cannot easily duplicate. Market knowledge and regional expertise carry the same sustained advantage. technology, and financial resources support operations, but they are not what sets GWF apart. The relationship and market knowledge are the real strategic assets. The SWOT matrix displaying the four quadrants: strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. The SWOT synthesis reinforces the same picture: strengths in supplier relationships, regional distribution, and brand reputation. Weaknesses in limited scale and customer concentration, opportunities in wellness categories, sustainability, e-commerce and partnerships, and threats from national competition, cost increases, and changing consumer behavior. So the two strategic issues, that's the two dilemmas that GWF faces. We have one, growth versus relationship protection, and two, buyer dependence versus diversification. So two strategic challenges stand out. First, GWF must balance growth opportunities against protecting the personalized service and relationships that built its competitive advantage in the first place. Second, GWF needs to reduce its dependence on small number of major buyers by diversifying its customer base and strengthening ties with smaller retailers and food service accounts. Recommendations work at three levels. At the corporate level, related diversification into complementary wellness categories lets GWF reuse what it already has: its supplier relationships and distribution capabilities. At the business level, the priority is staying differentiation focused, investing in supply chain analytics, ERP, sustainability, and traceability rather than competing on price. And a newer idea worth highlighting: strategic partnerships with larger national food brands that want regional market access. Combining their resources with GWF's regional expertise and retailer relationships creates mutual value for both sides. This analysis shows why strategic frameworks matter for managerial decision making. PESTEL, Five Forces, VRIO, and SWOT all help identify opportunities and risks, but effective strategies still requires leaders to make intentional choices about where to create value. GWF's case is a good example that competitive advantage doesn't always come from size or financial resources. It can come from relationships, operational expertise, and customer knowledge. GWF's long-term success will depend on growing while protecting exactly those capabilities. To close, Greenleaf Wellness Foods case shows that competitive advantage doesn't always come from size or financial resources. It comes from capabilities like relationships, operational expertise, and customer knowledge. The path forward is differentiation, strategic partnerships with larger brands seeking regional access, and protecting the relationship-based capabilities that set GWF apart. Thank you, and happy to take your questions.